Hey there and welcome back to the Shop Build series. In this video we're going to be doing a little bit of soundproof prep, all of the insulation for the walls on the bottom floor, including the ceiling, and a house wrap situation that may or may not be worth the effort. Before putting in any insulation, I'm doing a few things to help reduce the amount of noise that will leave the building, since I'm going to be working with a lot of loud machines and I try to be considerate of my neighbors. So I've taped or caulked all the seams that may lead to air gaps on the outside of the building. In theory, the sound that would normally travel through the gaps would be reflected by the tape or by the caulk, which would help minimize sound transfer to the outside of the building. I'll admit this may be a bit overkill, but I tend to work a lot at night, so sound control is even more important. The insulation I'm using is an R13 fiberglass insulation. This insulation will work great for the walls that have been framed 16 inches on center. For any wall sections with outlets or a regular size, I'll be cutting the insulation to fit. To make this a bit easier on myself, I chalked out a template on the concrete floor. This template gives me a rough ceiling height and outlet dimensions. Normally you'd buy the correct size insulation for your ceiling, but I got such a good deal on this lot that I don't mind taking a couple extra minutes to trim it to fit. You've probably noticed I've got a little bit of safety gear on. Although this fiberglass insulation is much safer than something your grandfather would have used, fiberglass is just that, glass. And in this case, very light strands of glass, which results in glass dust that can penetrate the skin, lungs, eyes, and so on. So I'm wearing a dust mask, gloves, and long sleeves to save me from having to pick out any glass splinters at the end of the day. Everything I use in this video, I've included links to in the description below. So I just finished all the insulation for the bottom of the studio, and I'm going to do something a little bit unconventional. I'm going to take duct sealant and I'm going to use a trowel, and I'm going to real quick cover evenly all the 2x4s, and then take some silicone vapor barrier that you'd normally use for flooring, and I'm going to use that as my vapor barrier instead of plastic. The plastic I don't think does much for sound control, and I think the silicone vapor barrier will do something for sound control. It's important to me that the sound from the shop, since I'm going to be loud in here, doesn't get out and bug my neighbors and whatever else. So that's really the next step in the process. I've also got to do loft space as well, but I'm a little over I'm a little over the insulation for today. So I'm gonna go shower because I'm covered in the stuff. My eyes are itching and I'm about to cough in a second because it's floating around in the air, and it's just, yeah, I will talk to you guys later. So I'm getting ready to do the insulation in the ceiling. Initially I left these two trusses open because I was going to use them for loading stuff into the loft space, which is going to be mainly used for storage. But I'm never going to be loading anything that's 18 feet into this space, so there's no reason to have 18 feet there that's uninsulated or only with rigid foam insulation. So I'm going to build out 3.5 feet, maybe 4 feet out on each side. Then I'll have a 10-foot spot in the middle where I can load anything for storage or get anything down that I need to get down. I think that'll be more than enough space. So I'm going to take a break from insulating, and I'm going to build out these couple sections here, and then we'll get back to getting this ceiling insulated. A few wall sections into this process, I switched to a caulk gun and some different paper. This paper was a little bit heavier, which may result in better sound dampening, and using duct sealant instead of caulk was a bad idea to begin with. Near the end of this video, I'm going to take a before and after decibel reading to see how much sound control we've actually got. So now I'm going to go through and trim all the excess house wrap, and I'm going to use this handy little tool, which is electric scissors. You use them to cut a lot of different stuff. So I'm going to trim all those off, then I'm going to tape it, and then I think we're going to put up some soundboard. Now that the insulation and wrap is done, let's take a look at the sound results. Soundboard and sheetrock also affect the sound rating, so I'll be measuring them at the end of the next video as well, so we can take a look at how much difference all these steps make. So that's pretty much it for the insulation. The house wrap was a bit of an experiment that might help with some sound dampening. Let me know in the comments if you think all that effort was worth it or not. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That helps me keep making this content. And until the next video, you guys have a good one. Really? All right.